So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you how to do stained glass cookies using edible lace, mixes, gel colors, edible pen, edible markers to draw. I'm even going to show you how to do them, color them in with gel. And you can even print your images if you have a blue. You can print your images, outline images directly onto the cookies like this one. You can either just do an outline image, or I just put my image on my blue and I printed it directly to the cookie. That way I don't have to go back in and color anything. I can just outline it and fill it in with the glaze that we're going to be using to make the stained glass effect. So what we're going to do start with is I'm going to show you two different laces that we're going to use. This is just a lace mat that I have, and I actually chose this lace mat because it has a couple of different little flowers on them. And of course, when you're working with cookies of certain sizes, let's just take this bunny for example, you need smaller items. Now this one was actually hand piped with my edible lace, and I'll talk about those just a second. And then it was filled in and colored in with the gels. So you just need different sizes. This one, I don't know if you can see, it actually has some smaller flowers on it, which you're going to be using. Now, what I have done is I've used FlexFrost. This is the rose gold pack. This is just what I had. So the way this one works is you actually cut off a sheet that you need. So we have set here. So you just cut off a piece of your FlexFrost. Try to get back in the camera here. And you want to just peel the backing off of this. Now you can purchase the FlexFrost from Icing Images. I believe they have gold, silver, bronze, rose gold, pearl, white, of course. So once you peel the backing off, this is what it looks like. You just want to take it and dunk it in some water for about 10 seconds, just to make sure it's completely wet. And then what I like to do is I just lay it on the mat on the design, just like that. All right, and we're just going to let that sit there for a moment. And then what we're going to do, while that is going, I'm going to show you my two laces that I have. Now, these are the Lace Supremes. And what they are pre-made edible lace. They come in white. So it's a pre-made edible lace. It comes in white. It's very bright white. You can color it. You can paint on it. You can actually print on it. We printed on it at one of the cookie cons with one of the blues. And then this is the gold, which doesn't want to open. They do come with these little caps on them. And this is the gold, which is very shiny, which I love because I don't have to go back and paint or highlight anything with gold paint. So with these, what you do is you just take a little bit of the mix and you put it on your mat and you spread it out just like any other lace piece. So what I did is I just chose that little flower right there because it has some leaves attached to it. And if you want to go for a larger piece, you can do a larger piece and then just cut out with scissors the section that you want. So you just wipe it on. And if y'all have any questions, please let us know. Debbie will relay them to me.
Yep. Well, the goo hasn't shown up, Stacy, yet. He's just showing the lace. I like this because it's already done and it's such a beautiful
Yes,
color.
it's already done and it's very bright lace. Both of these cookies here were done with this lace.
Now, Susie, Dr. Susie Fred wants to know if you can pipe with your Supreme lace.
You can pipe with the Supreme lace. When you pipe with it, you need to let it air dry. Um, if you overheat it by throwing it in an oven, a dehydrator will work, but leave the door open on your dehydrator. Just turn it on low, it'll help it dry out. Um, if you get too much heat going in there, it will cause it to bubble, and you'll get this really this effect. Looking for a piece here, and it actually does have a kind of a cool effect on it. I don't know if you can see if that will focus in, but it leaves like little divots in it. If you let it dry naturally or at a really low temp, then you get nice smooth like this. You can see that. Does that answer your question? You
I'm sure
can
it did.
pipe with it. We did pipe with it at the semi retreat this past January this year. So we're going to go back to the FlexFrost sheet here. And what you want to do is once it's set there and got saturated, you just want to take a spatula or just a flat edge and you just want to wipe it and work it into the mat. Now, I know this isn't showing up very good. This is the rose gold. So it's a little dark here on this mat. But once you do that, you can let this dry also. And you can put these in the oven or the dehydrator also and let them dry. But both of them naturally should dry within 2 hours, and you should be able to pull them directly out of the mat without any assistance.
Perfect. Sharita said that she did pipe the leaves before, or we did.
Yes. Yeah, we piped the leaves for the alien at the semi retreat. We did that. So that's how you use the two different types of lace there. And of course, I just showed you one mat, and there are different mats out there. And I'm looking for the others.
Are these your mats? Oh,
So
that was good. Hey, look at that.
this one is an Icing Images mat. It's
Yeah.
a You can buy this from Deb. I really like this one because it has this floral pattern on it, and then this one has like a sunflower pattern on it. I did put my Supreme Lace Gold in these mats, but we also, she has a couple of different other mats, and I don't know what I did with them, but there's a heart mat also, and this is one of the hearts. I'll just turn this over so you can see. That's one of the hearts from the heart mat. And I think there are 3 different mats or 4.
Yeah, there's three. I want to say there's 3 or 4 of them. I feel like there's
I had
four.
them in my hand earlier and I put them down, so I'm not going to tell you I actually know where they are.
Now, but the other mat you showed, the big one, that's your mat. That's found on your site, right?
So this was it is a crystal candy lace mat, which I used to sell.
Okay.
Um, I no longer have any of these.
Okay.
You can still find them like on Amazon or some other shops. This is a company. They're really great mats. They are from South Africa, and of course, it just got harder and harder to be able to get them and bring them into the country. with shipping and minimum orders and like that. So I just kind of phase these out because there are a lot of different mats out there, and it doesn't matter which mat you use, they will all work the same. So this mat here, like I said, this is a fun little floral mat. I like this one was done. So once it's dry, they just peel out just like that. I laid that one on top of the cookie. Just like that. So that is the exact same pattern. I just colored this one in. I'm sorry if y'all hear my dog scream. He does not like the weather.
Oh, my guess is nobody does right now.
Yeah. So then we have this sunflower one, which I'm going to use tonight. I really like it. It's very summery, spring. I just like the pattern on it. And it looks really good with yellows in it. So what we're going to do, since I've talked about the lace and how you can do that, I will tell you that this one here, this one was actually hand piped, the lace like we were talking about earlier. I hand piped the gold lace directly on here so I would not have to go back and fill it in. So we're going to make our mix now to use on, that'll give us our stained glass effect. So we're going to be using my designer gel. Now, this is a transparent gel. It is a stencil gel. You can use it with stencils. You can mix it with royal icing or buttercream to kind of thin it down, especially if you're going to write with things, but it takes color very well. You can give it that nice transparent look on your cookies. So here's another one that I'll show you.
We call that Mr. Don's goo. Goo.
But see the shine that it leaves? And honestly, when you pipe it, it's wet and tacky, and you leave it sitting out for about 3 hours and you can touch it. And then within a day, it is completely dried. You can package your cookies, ship them out, whatever you want. Nothing will happen to them. A lot of these are several days old. These here, this was another one that was piped with just the gold. I just piped it with the gold. These were part of an Easter set that I did. And I actually did the sunflower, which I'm going to show y'all.
Beautiful.
As part of the Easter set. So you can put these, on anything. And you don't have to just do them on cookies. You can do these on cakes also. You can do them on fondant pieces and then take the fondant pieces and attach them to the side of the cake if you would like. But what we're going to do is we're going to use equal amounts of the designer gel and warm water. The warm water will help dilute down the gel so it's not so thick, which makes it easier to use. So I have my scale here. It's on grams. So I'm just going to put some in here, and I'm just kind of guessing. That's 7.2 grams there. So what I want to do is I want to add at least 7.2 grams of water to it.
Julie has a question for you. Julie has a question for you. When you colored it, and was it just an edible marker, When you colored in
I've done both. I'm going to show both.
yeah, just hold
I'm
your tights on.
gonna,
Come on, Julie.
so I'm going to add just a little less than half of the water. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to take the back of a brush. You can use anything. And I'm just going to stir this. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the gel and dissolve the gel into the water and make it so that we can paint with it very easily. But what happens as it dries, the water all evaporates and it leaves just the shiny gel behind. Now, when you're mixing it, it's going to look a little cloudy, but don't worry about that. That goes away as it settles. So I don't know if y'all can really see. This is actually still a little thick, so I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. And you want to use warm or hot water for this just to make sure that it dissolves the gel. There, that's much better. So now you can leave, once you get this made, you can leave this in just a little cup. What I like to do is, if I'm going to do a bunch of colors, I'll mix all my colors like this separately. And then I will use little bottles like this to fill if I'm going to just be doing a lot of cookies. That way I don't have to use a paint palette and keep refilling the paint palette. You make one color and you're able to stick with that. These little bottles, I have them on my website. But you can just take this now and pour this in here into your bottle. And then this way we'll be able to just use the little needlepoint tip to pipe it out into the areas that we need to pipe it into. So and then we just put that on. And actually, I keep several of these bottles around. So what I do is I mark them. You know, like if this is the gel with the water, I do have another one over here that's sitting to the side that is got my Everclear in it. And so I just have a black X on it, just so I know which one's which. But you can tell when you look at them, this one's more fluid than this. It's also a larger bottle. That way I keep them separate. So that's how you can make this really quick and easy to get going. So what I'm going to do here real quick is we're going to take a little bit of water and we're going to adhere all of this lace down to this cookie with just a little bit of water. And what I do is I just brush the top of the cookie itself with water. And it doesn't have to be a lot, you're just making it tacky. And then you just want to take the lace image and set it on there, and it will stick because it is a sugar-based product, and sugar will stick to sugar with just a little bit of water. Any questions so far?
We're doing pretty good.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some of our gel, and with the other sunflower, I did a couple of different strengths of the color yellow. So I'm actually going to take my gel and I'm going to put some in here. And for this one, we're actually going to paint this one on. So you just need little paint brushes, fine paint brushes that can get into all the little grooves on here. And then we're going to take a little bit of gel. Now this is the Lanyap Icing gel colors. This is the yellow. And what I'm going to do, so y'all can see this, I'm not going to put my color directly in here. I'm actually going to put a little dot of color onto the edge of my palette. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to control the color that I'm making. So you just take a little bit of color on your brush and you mix it in and you get just a light color. So this way you can get your different gradients in color. And then once you've done that, you can just take your paintbrush and go in and fill this in. And so here what I'm doing is I'm not going to do every one because I want to leave room for some different shades. So once you've done this, you can come back, take a little bit more color, make you a darker shade. And then go back in next to it and you can see that it's actually a darker shade. I don't know if y'all can tell that in the camera.
Yeah, you're good.
Can y'all see that those are different shades?
Yeah.
And then you can go back and add more. And you can just keep adding to get your different shades of yellow that you want. But this is just an easy way to control how dark and how light you can get it. And I'm just getting the gel on the paintbrush and I'm just letting it, I'm not really actually pressing down on the cookie itself. I'm just kind of filling in the spots as we go along. And so you just continue doing that until you fill in your entire design. So the sunflower on the egg was done that way. You can see the different shades of yellow in it. So that would be the same way. And then this was also done the exact same way with just different colors. And I got them a little darker. Like there's purple in here, there's blue, there's green, red, yellow. So I did the full color just to give it a mosaic type look. And I did it the same process. I just added my color into the gel till I got it how I wanted it. And then I painted in the design. Does black lace bleed into gel? Anytime you use black, you have to be very careful with the gel. For that is either making like a black royal icing by using a cocoa powder base to turn it chocolate and then adding a little bit black to it, or letting the gel completely dry hard before you would paint your outline.
It's absolutely beautiful, Don. Everybody's
So
loving it.
that is one way to do that. So, and like I said, these mats that I wish I could find the other ones that she has, but any mats will do. Has several different ones. So what we did here, this is another lace piece, and this just came off of one of the other mats that I was using. Put the gold lace in it, and I just cut out a piece so that it would fit here. Same process. You're just going to take some water, adhere it.
Julie, the troublemaker, wants to know if it's a soft bite when it's dry.
It's like royal icing. It's
Okay.
not. It's not hard at all. There's not enough on there that it will affect anything at all. You're talking about the gel?
I'm not sure which one. She's laughing at us. Which one, Julie? The gel or the lace?
The lace is a soft bite, and the gel,
Yeah,
it dries hard like the royal icing. She's laughing. I don't know why she's laughing.
she always does. She just causes trouble.
So same process. You can do different. That's how you color the gel. You can, if you want to get your design, and then you can go back and color them in. So we have a large rose here. So I'm gonna cut this little leaf off because it hangs over the edge. But you can actually adjust that and put the leaf back wherever you would like it. So just like that. What I'm going to show you here, same process. I'm going to just a little bit of water on the cookie. And you know, it doesn't affect the royal icing. You're not putting a lot on there. Sure it sticks down. Stick the leaf back on there. Now what you can do is you can go back in with edible markers. So Debbie sells these FooDoodlers markers. They come in a package like this, and they're really good markers. This cookie here was actually colored with these markers. So what you want to do there is you can take, say, your different pinks and reds, and you can go in and you can just color in. And this way you can get some different shading effects onto your cookie. So you can just color all that in.
You're kind of off screen a little bit. Your cookie's only about halfway in.
There we go. That better.
Push
So
it full.
that's pink.
There you go. Perfect.
And then this is a little bit of red. I'm just going to fill in. Now, of course, I added the lace piece on here first for this, but I'm going to show you another way that you can do this without the lace piece being there. If you want to hand draw, or if you want to use your edible printer to print your images directly onto your cookies.
So could you literally print right into that, the colors with the blue?
So I would not print directly. I think it would be too meticulous to try to actually get it into the design. But I'm going to show you on the other one that I did print on the blue, how we're going to fix that one. So once you get this colored in however you want it, you know, if you really want to get very artistic and get into all kinds of shading, you can. But these markers are really great. They have nice little fine tips on them.
Colored in pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, it really does color in pretty fast. And that actually, because I put water on it to stick down the lace piece, it was actually still a little wet, which was hindering my ability there for a second. So if you glue down your pieces first, let that water dry off, then it will be a lot easier. So once we do that, what we want to do is we want to take our gel mixture that we made earlier, and because the lace is already piped, it's you have your outline there, you don't have to do anything to it. You just take your bottle with your little needle tip on it and start filling in all the little areas. Which actually goes pretty quick with this little needle point tip on here. And of course, when you do add this gel in, your markers, it kind of smooths them out a little bit, blends them a little bit better. But as you can see, like this is really going quick with this. So this is a super quick way to just do some really quick stained glass cookies using edible lace. And the other thing about the lace is it actually holds the gel into place. So it does give it kind of a little raised effect to it. So you can actually feel it when you run your finger across it and it's dry. But see how quick that was?
Yeah, really fast. And I love that effect, the wet effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Now, Julie has another question. Thank you,
yep.
Julie. I love you. Um, I just have to give her a hard time. We got a couple questions here. Julie wants to know, does the goo mixture keep in the bottle for a bit, or should you use it in one sitting?
No, once you mix it with the water, just back on it and just label it so you know what it is. And
Hmm.
I've left them sitting out for weeks. I usually, when I'm doing this, I actually use it all, but I have just left it sitting there. The water, the water will not let it re-solidify. Sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
it woke my dog up. She's been sleeping this whole time until your dog barked.
Sorry
For her,
about that.
no. Do you prefer to color the gel and paint, or color with the edible markers and pipe the gel over it? Which one do you prefer?
I It depends on actually what I'm doing, but I prefer to do the gel. Like I said before, you can mix the gel like I did in the paint palette. You can mix them in little containers and put them in here. Your colors are already made. So if you're going to be doing, you know, 30 cookies that are all the same, then you don't have to worry about keeping to mix your color. You already have it mixed, and all you have to do is do your outline, whether it's in royal icing or in the edible lace, and just keep going. There's no stopping. So it's just your own preference.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's your own preference. But I mean, you see the shine that it gives. And that's still wet. And of course, like I said, when it does dry, you still see the shine on it.
Melissa says that it's awesome, Don.
Thank you. So you can do also this is let me use this little bunny rabbit. I had leftover cookies. So this here, lace, this is the rose gold lace from the FlexFrost that I made. I put in just a mat. I put in a couple of different mats that I had. If you're using the lace mats, just make sure that your pieces have enough of an opening that you can either color them in or you can actually fill them in with the gel. So you don't have, but you can go in and cut out all these little designs that you want here. This one is just a little flower, and same process. I'm going to just cut off this lattice because I don't want the lattice work on there. It's off a piece that I'd already cut. So just use a pair of scissors, cut it off. And see how it fits on your cookie.
And that's what's nice on big mats. You don't have to use the mat the way it is. Just take out the parts, just like you're doing right there, and it makes
Correct.
one mat do a lot of things for you.
Exactly. Just use what you want. You don't have to use the whole mat. So this is the FlexFrost. Same process. I cut it to the shape that I wanted it to make sure it fits. I'm just using water to tack it down. It's always best to put your water to glue on your cookie or your fondant or whatever you're gluing the lace down with, because if you get the lace too wet, then you won't be able to hold it. You won't be able to adjust it. So with this one, I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually make two. And let's go with a purple. I'm going to go with purple and a little bit of green. So same process. I'm going to just take a little bit of purple and put it in the gel.
You said it takes about 2 hours to dry, the gel, that is?
Yeah, roughly 2 hours. Yep.
And that's dependent on where you live, obviously.
Correct. And then you just want to go in and fill in. Now, the other good thing is say you want to give some highlights, like when we're dusting regular gum paste flowers or whatever, and we want to go around the edge here, you can do your darker color here. Just go around the edges like this. Fill it in like that. I'm just doing the top edge. Or you can do it, reverse, dark in the center. And then we can just take our gel, our clear gel, and go back in and fill in the rest of it to kind of just grade it in. And if you want to take your brush, it will just kind of mix together to give you that soft look on it.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that.
And then you can do the same thing with the green. So, and then just fill in your green. Now, I said this is the rose gold. It's the one I had on hand. I didn't have any regular gold. But this in itself looks fine also. But you can also paint this. You can go over this with edible luster. So there you just have a little quick flower. And if you wanted to paint it, you can take your gold luster and I'm using Everclear here, everybody's favorite. And this is my gold luster dust Lanyap brand. And I just want to make a little, kind of a thick paste with it, little brush. And you just go back over the edge of it. And you're touching just the lace itself. And for this part, you don't really have to wait for the gel to dry. I mean, if you're doing a bunch of cookies, by the time you get done with your gel on your cookies, your first one would be dry pretty much anyway. But I am just hitting just the top edge of the lace piece.
And when you're done with that, can you hold it up a little bit so we can see? Because it's harder to
Yes.
see the luster.
You can tell the difference between the rose gold and then the gold.
That's beautiful. I love the purple flower, the way you did that.
Yeah. So those are just, the different ways that you can do those with the edible lace. So there's your edible lace versions. Now I want to show y'all a trick for everybody who has an edible printer. You can also just print, if you have a blue, find your image, create your image, chat GPT, Canva, whatever you like to use. Create your image. And here, these cookies, these of course were mom and pop cookies that I had. All my other cookies, these are iced with the Fluff and Stuff. But I also have Fluff and Stuff here. So since this is already colored, I don't have to do anything but go back and outline. Hi, Tina. So I just cut just a little tip off of this. And then what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go in and you can see the outline of all the petals. Just go in with your royal icing. And with something like this, when you get towards the center of the rose, it does not have to be exact because it's so tiny as it is. But you're just going to follow the outline of the roses petals. With your royal icing. And then you want to do the same thing with the leaves. You can just go around the outside edge of the leaves. So basically what you're doing with the royal icing is you're creating that outline effect that you can go back and paint gold, but your color is already there because you printed directly onto the cookie, which with the blues helps a lot when you're doing mass production. So you just outline like that.
And so even if you have an edible paper printer, you can use that and do the same thing.
Correct. You could cut out pieces of paper and set it on there and go around the edge of it with the edible paper. You can do that also. So once this is done, this is actually, it's kind of cooling here. This is already setting up. So what I want to do is you can either brush your gold before or after. I'll do a little bit with before and a little bit after putting the gel in. So I'll do the leaves. Just go back over your royal icing. Y'all see that? Just taking my golds. And I'm just going over the top edge of the royal icing. Okay, so you can do that first, and then you can go back in with your clear gel and just fill it in. Just like that. And the shine. So
Nice.
the turtle was actually printed with the blue. So I did the exact same process. I printed it with the blue directly onto the cookie, and then I outlined it, filled it in, and dusted it with gold. Now you can also come back in with this. If you're putting just the clear gel on, it's probably better just to go ahead and do that. But you can also just let this sit here for a little bit and it will dry up. Like I said, in roughly about 2 hours, you can touch it and it's not tacky anymore. But also that actually looks good just with the white also. And like somebody said earlier, you could pipe with like black royal icing. I've seen cookies in some groups where they outline in black royal icing and
That's
do
a
the
really
same type of effect. So that is that one. And now I'm going to show you another technique of doing an image. If y'all were at the semi-retreat, we had printed images onto the cookies to practice with. But I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to get this image onto the cookie. If you don't have a printer, you can just print a regular sheet of paper. You can lay a piece of parchment or tissue paper on top of it. You can take a pencil, go over your design.
I love this. I know where
Just
you're
like
going.
this. You know where I'm going?
Yep.
But this is just a quick, because, not everybody is super artistic. So if you find an image that you want, this is a super easy way to copy it and transfer it. So I'm just going over the outline around the edges of this. And you see how quick this process is. Just tracing. All right, once you get that done, I don't worry about all the little fine lines in the leaves and like that, because you can add that in with the paintbrush. But once you get this done, you can take your cookie. Now, make sure you're using a graphite pencil. Lay this upside down, so the side you originally drew on there, and then you're going to go back over the outline again. And with this, you don't have to be, as precise, because when you go back and outline this with your royal icing, you can, adjust. So I don't know if you can see that, but it'll leave a little outline on the cookie. So it transfers it on there for you. So then once you've done that, what I did with this cookie here, did the exact same way. I just took the edible markers and I colored in.
Julie said, I cannot draw. Even my stick men are crooked. LOL. You don't have to draw because
You
you
don't
have.
have to draw with
Oh,
this. This is the good thing with this. You can just, go with this. And I'm just using the edible markers and I'm not really filling in the petals all the way. I'm only actually going about a third, maybe halfway up inside each petal, because to me that gives it more depth and dimension than just coloring in the whole thing. So I use the yellow and the orange there, and then we're going to do the same thing with the green. I'm not going to color in the entire thing, and I'm not really going all the way to the outline either, because I want to leave that. But see how quick this process is? I'm just basically doodling.
it's just like high school
You
during
can
math.
get correct. You can get, as detailed as you want with it. But then once you've done this, same process we did before, take your royal icing and you're going to go back over your outlines. But as you can see, all of these are really quick processes. I've shown you about 5 different processes here.
Yeah, this is great. So informative. This is why we love when Don comes in.
Takes me a while, but once I get here, I'm here.
Well, we're really blessed to have a lot of amazing artists come on.
So there you have it. You've outlined that. I'm going to outline the orange. In the center. And then I'm going to take my clear gel. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and outline this with the gold first, because it'll be easier to do without the gel in there. Because when you fill it in with the gel, it does fill it up to the edge of your royal icing or your lace piece that you've piped there. And you don't want to get gold in that. But see how super quick? I mean, the fluff and stuff is already dry enough that I'm brushing across the top of it with the gold and it's not mashing it. And if anybody's wondering if I adjusted, I followed the recipe exactly that was on the bag. I did not adjust it with extra water or anything. I'm just using it directly from the bag. Any questions?
Yep, we just got one. What's the brand of the gold? Are you gold again?
This is my gold that I have. I have two different golds on my website, and one is more of a antique gold. This is the glamour gold, so it's a little bit more shiny.
There's the link again, guys.
But this gold is also 100% edible, so you don't have to worry about any of that.
Very important.
Yes. So see how quick I just outlined over that, because I just piped it. And then you just take your gel, and we're just going to go in and fill in all of our spaces. And it's kind of mesmerizing to watch. Once you have your image on there and you've only drawn or colored in, it doesn't really look like much, but once you add the gel into it, it gives it depth and dimension to it. And it helps bring out the colors. See how quick that was?
This is amazing.
So I think that was my last little tidbit of information that I had for y'all on how to do stained glass cookies.
Yay!
So we
That
did
was
several
great.
different ones tonight. So, I mean, you can see the different ways you can trace your own image, your own picture. You can print with the edible printer. You can just use the edible lace, whatever you prefer, and color in with markers or color in with just gel colors.
This is great. Everyone's loving